Well, the weekend has begun, but things do not end here. So, today we're going to be doing, of course, three reviews. The first one, of course, we continue with day three by New Japan Pro Wrestling with the Super Junior Tag League. Now, we're going to focus only on A block matches, no preliminary matches whatsoever. So, we're going to focus on that. And then we move on with AEW Collision, featuring many matches, such as, of course, the long standing feud between both Thekla and Mina Shirakawa that began in Stardom and now it made its way down to AEW. And of course, we have Tomohiro Ishii taking on Pac. We even have, of course, the $400,000 All Star 8-man tag team match. Jet Speed teams up with Jurassic Express to take on FTR and the Young Bucks. So that's going to be our main event. And then finally, of course, we have NXT Halloween Havoc. We have a very special tag team match, Javon Evans and Leon Slater taking on AAA's very own Mr. Iguana and La Parca. And then, of course, we do have some championship matches, such as, of course, the NXT Women's North American Championship. We even have, of course, the actual North American Championship in a Day of the Dead match. We have, of course, the NXT Women's Championship, the NXT Tag Team titles in a Broken Rules match, and then finally the NXT Championship. So that's pretty much what we are going to be doing today. However, there will be no news updates for today. So we're just going to be doing plain up reviews. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. In the world of pro wrestling, it's not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information has been unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, school is in session, so the lesson today is now New Japan Pro Wrestling. So let's begin with Day 3, Super Junior Tag League. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Day 3 of the Super Junior Tag League, and this was, of course, their much latest event, and it happened at the Kumagawa Citizen Gymnasium. I don't know where that is, but anyway, as I said before, we're only going to focus on the block matches themselves. So it's all about the A block. So we're not doing preliminary matches whatsoever involving the tournament. So the first match is Daiki Nagai and Clark Connors taking on who is it? Oh yeah, Dragon Dia and Ryusuke Taguchi. Now remember, these two teams from the very beginning have been unsuccessful to get their first 2 points. So basically, it's appropriate for them that one of these two teams have to get their first 2 points in order to proceed, or they won't. So that's going to be obvious. But I have to say, things were working very well. Daiki Nagai seems like he is getting into the idea of being a bit aggressive, learning some things from Clark Connors. I mean, Clark Connors is a vicious animal, and that's exactly what he was. And of course, when it comes to their opponents, Dragon Dia and Ryosuke Taguchi, well, the one thing you need to do is steer clear from Taguchi with his ass, and if you know what I mean. But in the end, it was in fact a DDT onto Dragon Dia to Daiki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, they got their first 2 points. And this is, of course, the guys and Connor's third straight loss so far since the start of the tournament. Now, our next match, we have the United Empire, Jacob Austin Young and Templatio taking on Yo and Master Wato. Now, of course, many of you might think, okay, if these two teams, if Templatio or Jacob Austin Young win this match, pin either Wato or Yo, they could actually cash in an opportunity of the never open weight 6-man tag team titles, which of course would have been sweet and something that, of course, the United Empire would love to have in their waist. But however, they are facing a team that know how to work together very, very well. But however, in the end, it was Yo that picked up the win onto Jacob Austin Young, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, they're now in the lead with 6 points. So that makes them undefeated as we speak. Now, our main event, we have Geto and Hiromu Takahashi taking on the biggest scumbags of the earth, Sho and Doki. Now, of course, when it comes to Sho talking trash, as he always does, well, Yo decided to, Hiromu decided to, you know what, we had enough. But I have to say, there were some great moments. I mean, Hiromu does this thing where he just runs around in circles and takes down all of his opponents, and then he got Geto to do so. But of course, the one thing when it comes to these idiots, Sho and Doki, they like to cheat their way through by using weapons, distracting referee, and of course, once again, what was it? Oh yeah, one of the best moments. Everybody knows exactly when it comes to these idiots. The House of Losers like to use the bell, like saying they try to throw them off. But however, Geto gave them a taste of their own medicine by using the bell on Doki, thinking that he won. But I have to say, Geto did a pretty good job. But unfortunately, that didn't do any well for him, because he was taken out by Sho with that plate on his head, and then Doki picked up the win. And of course, sooner or later, someone's going to smack the face off of these two idiots and take those titles, including the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, away from them. Now, of course, Hiromu, Geto, and they only have 2 points in this, but however, the House of Torture, or should I say the House of Losers, now have 6 points. So they're tied with Yo and Master Wato. So sooner or later, these two teams have to clash in order. So now these two teams are undefeated. So one of these two have to lose a match. So I wouldn't be surprised if the House of Losers decided to cheat their way through on this one. So I don't know if it's going to be the next one where we're going to see it, but we'll just have to wait and see. So as of right now, we are done with New Japan. Let's move on with our next review, and that is AEW Collision. Okay, AEW Collision. We opened up with Hangman Adam Page making his way to the ring. Now, of course, we all know what this is about. If you saw what happened in WrestleDream this past Saturday, then you know exactly what this is about. Of course, Hangman is realizing he did exactly right. He defeated him, but however, Joe considered him that what happened was a fluke. But Hangman wasn't going to have it. He told him, look, you guys had my back, I had your back. But the worst thing you guys did is make an enemy out of me. And he's not wrong. I mean, here's the thing. You had his back from the very beginning, and now this happens. But of course, it's going to continue between those two. So we'll see where that leads. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be another match in Full Gear. But you may never know. Now, our first official match, We have Pac representing the Death Riders taking on the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii. Of course, Pac thinks that he can defeat him, but we all know how Pac operates due to the fact he has the Death Riders by his side. Those idiots, uh, Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta, were involved. Garcia tried to attack, was beating the crap out of him while the ref was distracted, and then of course that idiot beard-headed loser Wheeler Yuta decided to use the Busaiko knee, to send the attention. But of course there was Pac who finished the job by applying the running lariat, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, Ty J, we're doing an interview with Lex Lanier. As you know, there's been talk about the AEW Women's Tag Team title tournament coming up soon, this coming Wednesday. However, they were visited by people many of you may know. One is Miranda Elise, who some of you know, who worked in Ring of Honor in the past, and the other one is Nixon Newell, or as you all knew her in WWE as Tegan Knox. So there was been talks about this for a while about Tegan Knox, but we'll save that at another time. So it seems now they're making enemies. Now, MXM TV made their way to the ring. Apparently, they wanted Arcady to introduce Taya Valkyrie because she was in the match. However, the opponent was coming all the way from CML, and that is Olympia. And of course, the MXM TV would definitely try to help her, but it was not enough when it comes to Olympia. I mean, she is a strong athlete. I don't know exactly what kind of move she put, but it was like something similar, like the JP coaster, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 was over. However, when the match was over, MXM Collection carried Taya Valkyrie like, she's Jesus Christ or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's what happened. Now, our next match, we have Brian Keith taking on Ace Austin. So, as you probably know, recently there's been Big Bill and Brian Keith got in the face of the Bang Bang Gang. As you know, Ace Austin's history towards Juice Robinson has been very well documented during the Bullet Club days, and that kind of sets it up. However, many of you would have thought Brian Keith would have picked up the win, but nope. Ace Austin pulled up his first win in AEW when he applied the fold, and I'm sure we know that Bang Bang Gang once what's his name, Switchblade Jay White and Colton Gunn makes the return. I can't wait to see that happening. Now, Lex Lanier did an interview with Don Callis, kind of putting out the elephant in the room, and the elephant, of course, is the family dysfunction. About we all saw what's been happening between Takeshita and Okada. Now, of course, Don Callis, being the naive little narcissist that he is, he's not seeing that sooner or later things are not going to go well between Okada and Takeshita, because I mentioned this before. Okada thinks of himself that he is higher than Takeshita, but Takeshita always feels like, hey, I'm the rising star, I'm going to surpass you. But of course, Okada's not going to let that happen. But of course, Don Callis decided to play peacemaker, and there's going to be a summit coming up soon. But the real question we ask ourselves, is this going to be bad? Well, we don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, Lexington did another interview with Dalton Castle and of course the Outrunners about their recent development, and then they were interrupted by Max Caster and Anthony Bowens with their usual bickering. And well, they just resumed their things. I don't know what the plans are for those guys, but it's going to be very interesting. Now, our next match, we have Griff Garrison versus Hook. Well, you all know how this is going to go when it comes to Griff Garrison as a member of the frat house. His buddies, Jack Jamison, Cole Carter, and Preston Vance would help. But however, Hook took matter of his own hands when he put Griff Garrison in Red Rum, and just like that, he tapped out. However, of course, knowing what the frat house would do, Eddie Kingston showed up with the chair, basically giving them the stern warning. So, you know how that is. Now, we did see a video promo coming from Olympia. It seems Olympia has one thing in mind, and that is, of course, regaining the CML Women's World Championship. If you guys remember, this is one of 12 belts that Mercedes Moné has, and Olympia is determined to bring that belt back to CML where it rightfully belongs. But the real question we ask ourselves, can she pull it off? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, our main event is the $400,000 All-Star 8-Man Tag Team match. We have FTR Cash Wheeler and Dax Hartwood, along with that idiot Stokely Hathaway, they team up with the Young Bucks. And Mac Jackson, who, as you all know, their history for a long time, they face against Jet Speed, Speedball, Mike Bailey, and uh, Kevin the Jet Knight. They team up with Jurassic Express, Jungle Jack Perry, and of course the resident dinosaur Luchasaurus. Now, of course, when it comes to this, we will see some interesting maneuvers coming from FTR and the Young Bucks, and of course they'll try to figure out ways, and not to mention that idiot Stokely Hathaway will even help them out the win. But however, this match ended with, of course, Jet Speed picking up the win. Kevin Knight applied a UFO splash into Cash, while Mike Bailey applied a spinning heel kick onto Dax Harwood, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. So they get the money, and not to mention, Jurassic Express gave a little like a bill to both Nick and Matt Jackson. I don't know what that was about, but that's how things ended in Collision. So we'll see what happens for this coming Wednesday. But as of right now, we are officially done with AEW. Let's go for our final review, of course, and that is NXT Halloween Havoc. Okay, last review, NXT Halloween Havoc. We opened up with an amazing tag team match, Javon Evans and Leon Slater taking on Mr. Iguana and La Parca from AAA. I have to say, great opener and a real fun match, not gonna lie. I mean, when it comes to Mr. Iguana, he is a very unique wrestler. You know, many people would say you don't get what he does, but for me, I've always been intrigued by unique things, unique individuals growing up. You know, so that's one of those things. But however, if you guys ever seen Mr. Iguana, he had one of that little puppet, little lizard. I forgot what he called, but he used it. And then on to Javon Evans and Leon Slater, and they tried to do a little hot potato with him, but unfortunately they got knocked out by Mr. Iguana. But it didn't end there, because we did see the Swanton 450 seal the deal for Slater onto Mr. Iguana, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match is for the NXT North American Championship in a Day of the Dead match. Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. will face off against Ethan Page. Now, these guys have been going back and forth ever since Ethan Page has been aiming for the Latin American Championship that currently is in the possession of Wagner. As you know, Wagner has his sights set, and now it seems that Wagner decided, you know what, you wanted my belt, how about if I come after yours? So, you know how that probably rolls out. But this match had a lot of weapons. I mean, anything you can use. There was tables, trash cans, and all that. And then Ethan Page made one critical mistake in attempting to remove the mask from Wagner, but Wagner does not take that kindly. But of course, what we did see, a powder thrown into the eyes of Wagner by Page, and then he applied an ego cutter through a table, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he retained the championship. Now, Kalani Jordan, as you know, recently she's been very, how do I say, acting like a little brat for a while, because the NXT women's locker room do not trust her, because A, she helped TNA during the showdown that took place, and of course, Jordan Grace, dressed up like Velma from Scooby-Doo, decided to try to reason with her, telling her, look, you act like you were a nice girl and now you're not, and then you're back into your usual tactics. So she doesn't know what to make of it, but apparently a lot of things are going to happen. Now, our next match is the NXT Women's North American Championship. Blake Monroe taking on Zarya, who is a substitute for Sol Ruca, who got injured. Now, of course, Blake Monroe, as you know, she is attempting to change the game. Because of the injury that Sol Ruca did, she tried to say, hand over the belt to me, but Zarya was not going to let that happen. And of course, Sol Ruca, who was injured watching this on the sideline, that kind of changed things a little bit. But however, we did see that she tried to use to take out Sol Ruca on many occasions, to drive the friendship into you know, as a weakness. And then, of course, she used that little hairpin, but it didn't work. However, it was Blake Monroe that was able to apply her move, the Glamourinator or whatever she calls it. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, brand new NXT Women's North American Champion. And just like that, it was over. Now, in the back, Ren Sinclair was on a video call to Charlie Dempsey, who's in Japan, while Carmen Petrovic and Kendall Gray were right there hanging out with her until, of course, Lash Legend showed up. As you know, there have been some problems between Lash Legend, Ren Sinclair, and Kendall Gray, so it's going to be a very interesting moment between them. Now, our next match, we have the NXT Women's Championship. Tatum Paxley taking on Jay-Z Jane. Now, Jay-Z Jane has been showing her dominance in NXT ever since winning the NXT Women's Championship. However, Tatum Paxley has won the Battle Royal that took place. But Jay-Z Jane believes that she doesn't have what it takes to beat her. And of course, we did see some amazing moments in her doing an insecurity outside the ring. And of course, we did see the interference of the Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley and Lainey Reed. And then, of course, the referee kicked out everybody from the calling, Sean Spears, Nico Vance, and Izzy Dame. And then the ref told both Lainey Reed and Fallon Henley to hit the bricks. And that's exactly what happened. So it became a one-on-one affair. But out of nowhere, we did see Izzy Dame show up. We don't know what was her intention. She used the belt and she took out, of course, I forgot who it was. And then, of course, Jay-Z Jane used the rolling encore into that. But, however, we did see the cemetery drive by Tatum Paxley. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, brand new NXT Women's Champion. Now, the GM was Ava was in talks with Miles Bourne. Of course, the situation with Josh Briggs and all that, and Tavian Heights, who also had his running with Josh Briggs. They're fighting, like having their disagreement who will be the next to crack at him. However, Ava had a better idea that this Tuesday, those two will face off, and whoever wins will have their chance against them. So I think it's a fair assessment. Now, our next match is the NXT Tag Team Belts in a Broken Rules match. We have, of course, Dark Stain, consistent of Dion Lennox and Osiris Griffin. Remember, these guys were the previous champions. They lost these titles in a ladder match to the Hardys, I believe, in Showdown. But now they get the rematch. Of course, the disadvantage is that Sugar and James Cutler were involved in this, tried to ensure this match will go in their favor. But, however, they applied a new tactic. They tied up Matt Hardy from his feet up to the turnbuckle. But, however, Jeff was open and he was taken out when they applied a Doomsday through a table by Lennox, who applied it. But he was the one who picked up the win by pinning him. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, brand new NXT Tag Team Champions. Now, our next match is the NXT Championship. Trick Williams, who was the former champion, now he gets an opportunity to reclaim what was stolen from him, and that is the NXT title, taking on a guy who's been known. People call him an outsider, but now he's making his presence known in NXT, Ricky Saints. Now, of course, we all know how this turned out. For those who haven't forgotten, during the Showdown event, Trick Williams walked out on NXT, allowed them to lose in that elimination Survivor Series elimination match, and now Trick Williams wants what he felt was his, and that is, of course, the title. And he did everything humanly possible to take him out, but however, Ricky Saints applied a spear, then a top rope assist DDT onto him, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. He retained the championship. So we will see what happens this coming Tuesday on the programming. So, but as of right now, as I said, there's no news updates. Let's call it a day. Alright, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we will continue with more with New Japan, and I believe we are continuing with more of the Super Junior Tag League. So I think we're going to focus on B Block if that's the case. We'll just see. We do know there is a Stardom event taking place. I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch it. I do know we have the much recent big event by Mighty Gold, Grand Destiny. I'm still debating whether I want to review it now or wait a little longer, but we'll see, because I really want to get that out of the way. I haven't finished watching the reviewing the Battle Heart tour they are doing right now, but we'll see, because I know this is a huge event, so we'll just have to wait and see. I think we do have a Choco Pro event. I'm not sure if it will be out on YouTube or just wait up a little bit. I don't know. So we'll see how things will progress. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.